Hello. My name is Mick Collins with Tree Consulting. This video is going to be for Capricorn Risings for the month of February. Thank you all for being here. If you are doing the Patreon early release, I appreciate you being a part of that tier. Um, if you are at YouTube, thank you for being here. If you could hit like and subscribe, that will help me to grow my channel. If you end up liking what I have to say or enjoy my work, I'd really appreciate if you could throw a couple extra coins my way. The money is going to be going to my nonprofit organization called FAPEN, and that is the free and appropriate public education network that allows for a free um, special education advocacy because it's really expensive and not a lot of families, even if they're educated, don't know how to read legalese. And it's very convoluted to get to it or get through it all. And kids deserve to have a good education no matter what. I'll get off my high horse now. And Capricorns, the first event that is happening in the month of February is happening Monday, February 5th. This is Mercury entering into Aquarius. Today is January 18th. And as of now, Mercury is outside of the shadow period for the last uh, retrograde that we had. So everything that is going to be happening going forward, um, as it flies through all the signs is new. It's not going to be like going back over things. Um, and so Mercury in Aquarius is in Aquarius until February 23rd because it's flying. Um, and for you, it's what nostalgic items or values are you talking about or releasing while Mercury flies through your second house? Okay. Um, whatever you give up will benefit others. Maybe you're giving away like your kids' baby clothes, or um, maybe you're, I know that some people like to take their kids' clothes, especially if they're like holy, like they have holes in them or something, and cut them into smaller pieces and then build those pieces up into something else, like turn it into a blanket, turn it into a stuffed animal. That way it's still getting a use. It's just not being wasted and staying in a container. Um, on February 9th, which is a Friday, we have the Aquarius new moon at 20 degrees. And for you, Capricorn risings, what new values are you establishing for yourself and what boundaries are you setting? Getting people to respect those boundaries is going to take some cloak and dagger chess type of moves. I have said this in other videos, and I'm probably going to say this until I'm blue in the face. Boundaries are not about what other people do. It's what you are going to do when they violate a rule that you have for your own health and well-being. So here at this house, we are a house where we do not accept drop-by visitors. Like, unless you're dying, unless the neighbor's dying, unless it's like an emergency, do not stop by my house uninvited. I don't like it. My anxiety is not built for it. My dog's anxiety is not built for it. It doesn't go well. Um, and so we had told our family members, do not stop by uninvited. One of my family members decided she was going to stop by uninvited. Okay. I was livid. She jacked up my whole schedule. Like, my kid started crying when she went to leave. Like, it was not a good experience. And so once I calmed down, I turned to her and I said, the rule of this house is that you need to basically get permission before you come over. Like, you need to make sure it's a good time for us. If you stop by without contacting me ever again, I'm not letting you in. You can sit in the driveway until hell freezes over. I don't care. You're not coming in. So the rule is the rule. Once that other person violates the rule, the boundary is what you're going to do as a consequence of them not following the rule. See what I'm saying? Another instance, I was having a conversation with another family member. They got upset with something that I said because it hurt their feelings. They decided to lash out and say something hurtful. They might have meant it, they might not have meant it. It didn't bother me. Because I didn't react the way they wanted to, they said it 3 more times. Okay. And I just said, okay. And the next day, I called them. I said, remember the conversation we had yesterday in which you lashed out at me because you were upset and didn't like what I had to say? And they said, yes. And I said, if I end up saying something that hurts your feelings in the future and you lash out at me as a result, I'm going to walk away from you and not have any further contact with you because we're not hurting each other on purpose. You not liking something that I have to say that is the truth that makes you feel some type of way is not the same as intentionally being harmful. I'm not tolerating that. And they said, okay. So it takes a lot to be able to get to that setting of being able to be like, these are my rules. And when you violate these rules, this is what I'm going to do as a result. And then sticking to that. But I have Venus in Capricorn. So when it comes to relationship stuff, I'm a little cold-hearted. But yeah, that's how that is supposed to theoretically work. Um, moving on, we have February 13th, which is a Tuesday. Valentine's Day falls on a Wednesday this year. It's right smack dab in the middle of the week. It's probably better to not celebrate Valentine's Day on Valentine's Day this year because Mars and Pluto are having an exact meetup, and there's only one group that has this meetup in their fifth house, which would be excellent um physical relations. For the rest of us, it might not feel so great. And yes, I know I could probably be extremely vulgar on here, but I don't want to get in trouble. I'm trying to grow my platform, not make it worse. Um, if you want me to be my vulgar self, you'll have to follow me over on Twitter because that's pretty much the only platform that I won't get in trouble with for being my true self. Um, anyway, on the 13th, Mars enters Aquarius, and Mars is there until March 22nd. And for you Capricorn risings, mind your parents making you see red about your values and how you're raising your kids. That's a hard one if you have children, or if your parents are the kind of parents who are like, why are you doing this extracurricular activity that or this artsy thing? Why aren't you actually working in this capitalist hellscape? I mean, those are the two things that I feel like parents really like to harp on. Why don't you own this? Why don't you do this? When I was your age, I was doing because they don't want to acknowledge the fact that 2024 is a totally different freaking ball game from anything they have had to do before. And I'm saying this as a 42-year-old woman, okay, who has lived through the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, okay? Um, it's it's a lot different. It's a lot different. It's not the same ball game, and it I know that family that we come from tends to hit all of the buttons because they've known us the longest. So if they're making you see red, you might want to just bite your tongue, walk away. It's not worth it. Absolutely not worth it. On Friday, February 16th, we have Venus joining the Aquarius party. She's there until March 11th. And for you, release your old values, just let them go. They're creating a fear that is holding your creativity and joy hostage. Okay. On Sunday, February 18th, it is Pisces season until the spring equinox on March 19th. And for you, Capricorn rising, being stricter with how you transport yourself around might end up freeing up creative energy. Um, a more reliable form of transportation is being called for. It could be a more reliable form of transportation. It could be a more reliable form of communicating with others. It could mean that you need to get a new phone because it's not working, or you might need to get a new computer, or basically anything that has to do with um, that third house of communication and transportation. Okay. On the 23rd of February, which is a Friday, we have Mercury moving into Pisces until March 9th. Mercury in Pisces is difficult because this is where Mercury is fallen. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying that Mercury doesn't particularly like being here. It's kind of like if you have a tumultuous relationship with your in-laws and your father-in-law just talks out of his butt and you've got to sit there and listen to him yammer and on about things that don't even make any lick of sense. Okay? That uncomfortableness, that's what it's like with Mercury in Pisces. It's kind of like being stuck listening to um a podcast bro episode where they're just hyping each other up about the dumbest things. And you're like, all right, well, that was a waste of time. Mercury and Pisces. Okay. Um, Now the other problem is that Mercury is currently what is called combust, which means it's too close to the sun. And so it's kind of getting burned up. Or it's like being on a stage and all the house lights are on and whoever's on the stage can't see past that first row. So it's kind of like that. For you, please be mindful of that new transportation routine. If anything, overestimate how much time you're going to need for the next couple of weeks. You'll thank me later. All right. The last transit of the month happens on Saturday, February 24th, and that is the Virgo full moon. This is a culmination or an ending or um, a stoppage point of whatever you started at the Virgo new moon, 6 months of work. And so for you, whatever you published 6 months ago is giving you the desire to create again, because the rave reviews are in. So that's it. That's all I've got for ingresses and new moon and full moon for Capricorn rising. The February forecast for like all of the smaller transits that are happening in February, because there's 16 of them, is up on both Patreon and YouTube. If you would like that. Those are the squirrels. They love my house. So um if you like my work, please feel free to leave me a little tip at Venmo or at a coffee. Or if you want to join Patreon for the $1 a month as a donation, that would be super helpful. If you're over at YouTube, please click like or subscribe because that helps me grow my channel. I am very much trying to get my nonprofit off the ground and running, because I want for the 2024 school year for more students to be able to have free special education advocacy. Um, that's pretty much it. The stuff for March is going to be out February 13th for Patreon and February 26th publicly for everywhere else. Until then, have a wonderful month, make good choices, and know you are worthy of all the good things that are headed your way. Bye.